Well, Rob, Cornish Pirates this weekend, but you're coming into it on the back of a great performance in Connacht.
Yeah, and I think from my perspective, I'd just like to see this group of 15 players who start, and then the other guys involved, just carry on that level of positive performance we had. We started the game very well, we made some very good decisions, and as the game broke up, that allowed us to score some points. So, real good level of performance, and in a tough fixture down at Pirates, that's what we've got to do again. We've got to show a great attitude and get out there and play well and do the most we can to make sure the game's about us. Pirates will be doing the same. Their chat this week will be for them to try and get some positive things out of the game, and for them to impose themselves and make sure it's a meaningful fixture for them. So I think, all in all, it'll be an interesting fixture. I'm very excited about seeing some of our new boys play. We've got some new combinations out there. We're trying a few little things, but all in all, pre-season's going well so far, and I'd just like to see us maintaining some momentum.
I know when we've spoken over the last month or so, you've been pleased just how pre-season goes, but you don't really see it until match day comes around, and no doubt you've had a good look at Connacht and got lots of positives out of it.
Yeah, and I think the thing for us now, the challenge for us now is going to be how we deal with difficult situations. I think pre-season can be a time when sometimes you want the boys to be tested a little bit. I think at the minute, things have gone how we wanted them to go. But that has been because we played well and we've shown a good attitude and we've trained hard and we've worked hard. And like I say, this group of players have got to make sure they do that again this weekend. Otherwise, there's going to be some testing times down there at Cornish Pirates. That said, it will be interesting to see how we deal with, if the first half doesn't go the way we want it to do, how are we going to deal with it? If the refereeing decisions don't go the way we want them to, how are we going to deal with it? So there's some challenges that may happen, but there'll be challenges that will probably be good for us to learn from. So always around, pre-season is a difficult time. You want it to go well, but you kind of don't want it to go too well sometimes. You want to make sure your team get challenged in a lot of ways, because the last thing you want is to turn up at Welford Road and everything's gone perfectly, and then that first 5 minutes of the game goes the way you don't want it to, and we haven't had to experience that before. So hopefully it'll be a real tough fixture for us, but a tough one that we can get what we want out of.
We haven't seen the Pirates for a season, obviously two different divisions, but you saw a lot of them towards the end of the season. You were doing some Sky media work and that, and you were quite impressed with what you saw.
Yeah, and I think what impressed me a little bit is that when they were in the games, and I think by their own admission, they probably felt they underperformed a little bit. Now, that makes them a very dangerous side. I think they're probably a team who, as I say, played in 2 high-intensity games the last time they played rugby, because they were high-intensity games. And as I say, they played well in probably the second half of both of them when they kind of settled into those games. So for us, the key is to match that intensity. To know playing away from home is difficult wherever you go, but also to enjoy doing what we do. It's a local derby. That makes it an important game. We've got a really good rivalry with Pirates. Albeit that now we've got a very good working relationship with them as well. But it's a rivalry that on the pitch should be ferocious, because that's what rugby's all about, and that's how we can test ourselves.
What have you set? Any objectives in particular for the boys this weekend?
We just said to them, go out and win the game. That's very much our attitude here at the club. It's what we said against Connacht. You play to win the game. There was the early penalty kicks. We didn't kick to the corner and see if we can run a certain move or score a push-over try. Early in the game, it was the right thing to do, was to take the points and make it a proper game of rugby. And that's very much how we'll approach Pirates. As far as I'm concerned, it's a proper game of rugby. It's going to be tough to win it, so we have to go out and do the right things.
As the season draws ever nearer, Rob, are you seeing a crank up in the levels of intensity from the boys and that, and you're seeing a more desire every week by them? Yeah,
I mean, they're not stupid. They're very aware that for some of them this is a fantastic opportunity to state their claim for playing against Scarlets. And again, the truth of it is, the team that plays against Scarlets is going to have a head start. That opportunity to perform to get into the Leicester game. The boys are aware of this. As I say, we treat them like men. We tell them, you've got a couple of fixtures here. We'll probably see you all play. And the guys who bounce for those 2 games the best are likely to play against Scarlets. And if we have a good performance there, then you're in a box seat for the Leicester game. That's how things are. That's how selection works. We say to the players numerous times, you pick the side, we don't. Your level of performance will decide what happens. They're very aware of that, and they're training very well.
As you said, there's a number of new faces in the side this weekend. How much are you looking forward to seeing a lot of the new guys from the outset? Yeah,
I think so many of them have trained so well and also had some good game time last weekend that it does make an exciting fixture. Looking at seeing Josh Tutupa in the centre will be interesting. Ben White came on and did some really good stuff in the back row at the end of last week's game. Great to see him starting. You know, he's quite a big physical guy for a 7. You know, I'm really interested in seeing how he goes. You know, John Andrew's back at the club for his second stint. Got through some decent work there. You know, Ali Muldowney. You know, kind of, you know, almost in most positions on the pitch, we've got a new guy in there. You know, at half back we've got Kev. You know, Miles is starting at 15. You know, it's going to be very exciting for us to see how these guys go. You know, we believe we've got a stronger squad. These guys have now got performance shows. We have got a stronger squad.
The other big news this week: Junior Apollo going off to the World Cup. It goes with your blessings, no doubt.
Yeah, I mean, fantastic news for Junior, and I suppose where we've been quite fortunate is he's done the whole pre-season with us virtually. You know, he was over in Connacht with us at the weekend, got the last few minutes of game time there. So, you know, he's up to speed with us. In a way, you know, it's a two-edged sword. You know, fantastic news for him and the club that, you know, we've got another international at the World Cup. But, you know, you would like them to be with yourselves as well. You know, that's just kind of how it works. But, you know, hopefully, you know, as a club, as we progress, that's what's going to happen. We're going to have to deal with international call-ups more and more and more. You know, hopefully a few years down the line, you know, it may well be an extra academy player we see going off to a World Cup, which would be fantastic as well. But as it stands at the minute, you know, looks like we're going to have 3 guys at the World Cup. You know, that's not a bad start.
So hi. Hi. So come on, England.
All Blacks and Samoa.